I hope you still have time for a bit of additional information that I would like to share with you. As Eva was saying, I'm not really from the scientific background. I am also not a doctor. I'm blessed to actually have gathered quite a number of very talented doctors around what we currently do and work very closely with scientists. And today I wanted to share with you our experience in building the clinics and what is our lessons learned, and something that might be an interesting takeaway for you. So together with my partner, Prince Michael from Liechtenstein, we are both actually from totally different backgrounds. So as Eva was mentioning, I'm more a business person. I spend most of my time in business development, so actually connecting dots, as we say. And Michael is rather a geopolitics expert. So we are coming to the longevity field as end users, representing actually our clients, and building something that we always wanted to have for ourselves, and trying to bring what is already validated but also actionable to what we could do. And on this point, I really wanted to thank Martin, Emma, and the team for this great event, and especially that we just entered about 5 years ago. And I think this is one of the very few events that I see scientists talking to, not only to scientists, but also there's doctors, investors, and a very mixed, very interested audience. So, but it's very important for us to really focus on the scientific, validated information that is already available. And our scientific board includes Eric Verdin, whom most of you know, but also Stefan Katsikas, Mario Martinez, something that we don't talk much about in the field, which is psychology, psychoimmunology, and all the aspects of of our emotions and how do they influence our health and longevity. And of course, biomarkers and different wearables that we can use to motivate clients to stay on course. What we are currently building is actually an ecosystem of solutions. So we have created a longevity group, which is based in Luxembourg, and we started with longevity clinics, but we are very much following the interest of what our clients understand, what longevity is, and what is already available. And we are planning to go into also new areas of business in the next 3 to 5 years. So currently, we have 2 longevity clinics, as Eva already mentioned, and we have over 600 clients, which doesn't seem a lot, but we are generating quite a lot of data on each and every client. And just to repeat, this is a private initiative, so clients actually pay for the services with us, and we are planning to have more clinics within the next 5 years. We are currently preparing expansion plans and locations for new clinics. So the first one is in Warsaw. This is also, let's say, our research center. This is where we have most of our equipment, and also because, and I will also say it a bit later, we are not only focusing on testing, interventions and retesting, but also focusing on how those interventions are actually really influencing the biological age. So this is the second one in Germany, which is in a 5-star hotel, so a bit different focus and different target group. It's in a golf course area, so already people coming there are interested in wellness, interested in their health. So it's also very much easier to convince them to use our services. I think this might be interesting for you to see who is actually interested in longevity clinics. Most of our clients at the moment are women. Most of our clients are in the age of 35 to 55. And this came a bit as a surprise, because at the beginning we thought this is going to be a bit more for the older population, because This is where, this is what, as also Stephanie was saying, very often we consider with aging, but actually most of our clients are around 35 and 55. And also, what actually motivates clients to use longevity services, to check their biological age, to actually look for interventions, and actually focusing on the larger checkups. It's first of all are people who are interested in good quality of health, which is the primary prevention, as I said, but also people that have already had certain health conditions and they were told by doctors to live healthy. And so what? I mean, it's very difficult to find really a personalized recommendation on what is actually optimal health for me and how should I start and what is actually the best way to do it for me. And then we also get quite a lot of athletes and high performance experts, which are maybe not the best example of longevity, but they are very interesting benchmarks for us. So we are creating, we are working on our longevity center method that incorporates the hallmarks of aging, and we are trying to address each and every hallmarks of aging as we go, both in terms of understanding how to measure it, but also how to find interventions. Very much different aspects of biological aging, both those biomarkers that are coming from the longevity field, but also there's so much in preventive medicine, in preventive cardiology, that we are trying to integrate a very good knowledge of medicine and also understanding preventive and also the risk factors for potential diseases, but also the existing biological ages. And then we do the 360-degree assessment that also incorporates the cognitive functions. We look at the circadian rhythm, how does this influence also our biology and our aging. Gender and gender medicine. I think this is something that wasn't mentioned apart from menopause, but this is a huge part of what we do. I mean, a lot of, there is very different interventions for men and women, and also across longevity field. It's, we used to have, we used to recommend the same or hear about the same recommendations, but it's, we really need guidelines, and we are really looking forward to organizations like the one just set up with by Andrea and Evelyn to give us more guidelines that we could follow. And then the psychological and emotional aspects. So we start with the longevity checkup, which is about, it takes about 4 to 5 hours in our center. And then we provide recommendations and a longevity plan for 6 or 12 months, because the most important thing for us is actually to, for the client to stay motivated and also to see how the interventions are really influencing our biological aging and our overall health. So this is an example of our checkup. So we are looking at the genetics, epigenetics, we are looking at the cardiological aspects of our health, the respiratory system, metabolic health, cognitive, and body mass density, and in general our metabolic health. But also we look at mitochondrial activity, we look at the microbiome, and depending on the client's predisposition, also we have oncological pathway, and also we do a full MRI. We start with self-assessment, because this is also very important for the client to assess his own health, and also for us to understand their lifestyle and to put it into the context, into the right context. Because this is especially important when we are starting with recommendations. This is some of the diagnostics that we are using, which I mentioned before. Some of the tests that we have developed, we are sending actually to clients' home, because not everybody can come to us. And also, as it was mentioned already, for us the priority in what we do is really to make it available to as many people as possible. At the moment, the longevity checkups are pretty expensive. When you look at some of the clinics around the world, this is still quite a limiting access. We are trying with more and more biomarkers to become more accessible and create also protocols that would be easier to implement in new clinics. These are the biological clocks that we decided to use, and we focused. Of course, there are many more available. It's just for us, it was very, very open, very, very important that we could address each and every one with exact interventions, and also be able to understand how much they really influence how much they correlate with other medical tests, and also how much we can see the effects of those recommendations. So this is, for example, one of our genetic and epigenetic tests. One of the most important things in what we do is client's motivation. And this was one of our learnings, of course, at the beginning, because we were very motivated to give the clients a long list of what they should change and how they should really improve their life and what they should be taking. And of course, like with New Year's resolutions, clients complied for a few weeks, and then it was very difficult to follow up. So now we changed completely our approach, and we do very detailed monitoring at the moment, physical with our own doctors and nutritionists and executive coach to actually monitor progress. And we are looking for new solutions that are really going to help us to keep the client motivated, and I think this is one of the most important things in terms of change. So this is an example of a report. For us, it was also important that not to show the average biological age, but really to show those that are above your chronological age, because the most important thing in understanding the risk factors is really to see the weakest link that we could address, because obviously any biomarker that will be above your chronological age is something that we need to address, and we need to look, we need to dig a bit deeper. And then some of the recommendations include also different monitoring devices that help us to keep the client motivated, and also the client, if he's engaged and he's also using some of those devices, it's much easier to keep him motivated. So these are some of our programs. Some of the clients are complying with the programs, but actually we do a lot of personalized recommendations. So the longevity plan is actually a personalized way of recommending solutions. These are some of our additional interventions that were not mentioned too much, but I think this is something that is very much growing also in the industry. We see what is important for our advisory board and also for our scientific director is really to understand the correlation between those interventions and also the diet, exercise. How can we put them into the right protocols? Because those protocols don't exist today. How to mix hyperbaric chamber with cryo chamber with red light. This is something we're all still, I would say, testing, but also following a lot of research that is already available for each of those separately. So some of the key learnings. For us, at the very beginning, and still, I think the most important the most important aspect to successfully open a clinic is really to find the right doctor. At the moment, when we have already our protocols, we have well-defined and also well-checked biomarkers that really work, and we have some very, very interesting results. The doctor is the key, and also not every doctor is able to be successful in this field, because you need to really find it is a doctor that needs to be coming out of their comfort zone, and this sounds very easy, but it's actually not easy to find people like that. So this is why most of our doctors have additional line of interest, whether this is lifestyle medicine, integrative medicine or any other more, I would say, holistic approach to medicine, which is usually helping. Training, it was mentioned already, there is more and more training that is slowly becoming available. Eva mentioned a platform that is very often used by our doctors, but more training is absolutely the key to sharing the right protocols and also to be on top of the current medical innovations and also longevity science. Identifying actionable biomarkers, I think this is something that is really, really important because, and also see how they can be integrated with other medical tests. And the right global partners for product suppliers and also the labs that we are working with. Definitely today we are working with very different partners than with those that we have started, because it was also a learning curve. But this is something that is also one of the important aspects. So, and then to put together the right programs and to find best ways to motivate the client and to have the client, and I mentioned client, not patient, because in the whole process, we are trying to have the person coming to us not to become patients. And so I think this was a big discussion with doctors, because doctors have a big problem with actually the name client. So to find the right client journey that would be personalized, but also in line with the person's lifestyle, and designing the right recommendation and interventions. And as it was already mentioned, there's no clear guidelines. We are all learning. There's no clear guidelines when you actually start recommending rapamycin or metformin. I mean, these are very, we know that they work in certain conditions, but if you have very young clients, I mean, you really have to learn by doing, and also learn from your, I would say, co-opetition and experts in the field on how best to correlate this recommendations so that you don't do any harm, which is the main important aspect of being a clinic. And then adapting the programs to clients' expectations and ensuring clients' engagement. And I think with that, I might actually, because I have 2 more slides on that challenges, but I think it was mentioned already, the perception and opportunities. I don't have to really repeat what was said, and I'd be very happy to answer any questions.